and welcome to my channel. I hope you're doing well, like really well, and thank you for stopping by. As you can tell from the title of the video, today we're discussing depression, but I want to keep it as light as possible. I don't want to make it a pharmacology lecture. I don't want to complicate it with scientific jargon and all of that. Like, I just want to keep it light and on the surface, and what I mostly want to touch on is how you can tell if you are depressed or if your loved ones are depressed, and what it is that you can do when you are depressed, and what it is that you can do to avoid being depressed. Okay, so we're not gonna make it too heavy, right? Let's get into it. So I think it makes sense to first touch on what depression is before we go any further. So depression is basically a mood disorder. That's what it is. Basically, it's a mood disorder that is caused by an imbalance in chemicals in your brain. Depression can also be caused by hormonal changes. So anything that causes a drastic change in your hormones can lead to depression. That's why you sometimes find people getting postpartum depression, because there's so many changes that happens in your hormones when, during the process of pregnancy and childbirth. So all the hormonal changes can lead to depression, and that's how people end up with postpartum depression. So in some cases, depression can actually be genetic. Yep. So anyway, how do you then tell if you've got depression? Simple, you look out for the symptoms. So some of the symptoms of depression include feelings of hopelessness, tearfulness, a lot of people will find themselves just crying for no apparent reason. For some people, they lose interest in activities that they previously had interest in. Like, say, for example, you were a person who likes to play tennis, and now all of a sudden you just don't have the energy for tennis anymore. You just want to sleep all the time. Sleep disorders, some people, when they are depressed, they either struggle to fall asleep, or you wake up multiple times during the course of the night. Some people sleep excessively. So it's just to monitor your sleeping patterns. If you see a change, obviously it has to be in combination with other symptoms. Some people get headaches. Some people that are depressed tend to feel, excessively exhausted, and that's probably because of the lack of sleep, because obviously if you're not sleeping at night, you're going to be tired during the day. So at this point, I just want us to look at some ways that we can avoid getting depressed. So the first thing you can do is to manage your stress. Okay, control your stress. All right, how do you control your stress, one may ask? The first thing that you can do to control stress is to exercise. I know this sounds like a cliche, but that's because it's that good. We all know exercise releases feel-good hormones. Remember the chemicals we spoke about in the brain? Exercise helps with upping levels of that feel-good hormone, which is going to prevent you from feeling sad and all of that. The next thing you can do is to eat healthy. Again, this sounds like such a cliche, but some foods just contain chemicals that we don't necessarily need in our lives, especially when you're trying to avoid depression. So eat healthy. Okay. And lastly, get organized. Plan your day, know what you're doing, know what you need in order for you to do what needs to be done. Don't let things pile up and wait for the last minute to do things, because you're going to end up feeling anxious, and that anxiety is going to stress you out. And remember, we said stress can lead to depression. You're trying to avoid depression, so organize your life. And then the second part of getting organized, disclaimer, I haven't seen this documented anywhere, but I'm just sharing from my own personal experience. Get organized in the sense that you clean the space around you, tidy up, pack your wardrobe, or whatever clean means to you, but just declutter your space. For me personally, there's something about a cluttered space that just clutters my mind, and like I can't function. Another thing that's also very important for us to do is to evaluate our mental health from time to time. You know what I mean? in as much as you check on your health, like you'll check your blood pressure, you'll check your HIV status and all of that, you need to check on your mental health as well, you know? Like from time to time, you sit and ask yourself, okay, how am I feeling? You know what I mean? I know it's easy to say fine when somebody else is asking you how you're feeling, but now when it's just you and yourself, this is now your chance to be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, how am I feeling? Okay, if I'm feeling good, what is it that's making me feel good? It's A, B, and C. Okay, great. That means I need to do more of A, B, and C, because A, B, and C is good for my mental health. Or if you're not feeling good, you identify what is it that's not making you feel good. It's 1, 2, 3. Okay, is it possible for me to eliminate 1, 2, 3 from my life altogether? If it is, by all means, cut 1, 2, 3 out. If it's not, okay, can I limit the amount of time that I spend with 1, 2, 3? If you can, by all means, spend minimal amount of time with 1, 2, 3, right? Lastly, when you have assessed your mental state and you've reached a point where you feel that you are not in a good space mentally, and perhaps you've identified some of the symptoms of depression that we've spoken about, please seek help. Get help. Depression is a mental condition. It's not a sign of weakness. It's not a demon. It's not whatever taboo thing that people think it is. Depression is an illness. If somebody has depression, they need to seek help. So help could literally mean you reaching out to a friend or a family member. It could mean you going for therapy, you know what I mean? And then for some people, it could mean having to take treatment, but it's not forever. That's all I wanted to share with you guys today. You know, I just felt it was an important subject to touch on, especially now that we are on lockdown. You know, some people that are perhaps used to drowning themselves with work are now forced to face their demons, and some people may find themselves being depressed. So I just wanted to say that if you do find yourself feeling depressed, please reach out for help. Do not suffer in silence. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on my next one. Bye.